A woman sues the IRS to get pets classified as dependents. Government employees in China were caught using masks of their colleagues to trick facial recognition and skip work. And a sex toy shoplifter threatened a man with a leg of lamb before stealing money from a bus. These are the weird stories for today on Weird AF News, your only daily weird news podcast in your ear. Weird news in your ear. Come on and get the weird news in your ear. Yeah, get weird news in your ear. I'm going to give you weird news for your ear. Come on and get the weird news in your ear. A woman is suing the IRS to get pets classified as dependents and eligible for tax deductions. This is either extremely brilliant or the dumbest thing anyone's ever tried to do, trying to get your pets classified as dependents. Let's keep reading. Let's find out if she has a case. I hope she has a case because, I'm going to immediately introduce you to my new ant farm, a.k.a. my dependents, to 5,000 of them. Not to mention my 200 goldfish that I'm about to purchase, and all the fungi that's living on the bottom of my feet. Those are dependents as well. Bacteria, also known as my pet bacteria. I'm going to write those off as dependents as well. They're very dependent upon me, for sure. All right, let's get into it here. A lawyer and her golden retriever. She's a lawyer. All right, she's got a golden retriever. She's suing the Internal Revenue Service to try and get pets classified as legal dependents, a change that would have some tax benefits for pet owners. Now, the dog's name is Finnegan Mary Reynolds, and her owner, Amanda Reynolds, filed this lawsuit in the Eastern District of New York, arguing that the dog relies entirely on Reynolds for food, shelter, medical care, training, transportation, and more. And all that's true, I'm sure, but I don't think this is going to work. Amanda Reynolds, although she's a lawyer, she knows more about this than I do, I assume. She's arguing that Finnegan Mary Reynolds, the dog, I love how the dog has a middle name, too. This is Finnegan Mary Reynolds, an 8-year-old golden retriever, has no independent income. What? No independent income? Well, just start an OnlyFans for your golden retriever. Dog will make more money than I do. The dog resides exclusively with her, she says, and has annual expenses exceeding $5,000, all requirements for a legal human dependent under IRS rules. Now, while the IRS defines pets as personal property, Amanda says this does not reflect her dog Finnegan's role in their household. For all intents and purposes, Finnegan, the lawyer says, is like my daughter and is definitely a dependent. This is not a frivolous or meritless case by any means. Well, if you have to state that it's not a frivolous case, then it probably is a frivolous case, let's be real here. But, people don't want to pay taxes right now in the U.S., and can you blame them? Have you taken a look at what the government's doing right now with our resources? It's pretty terrible. Nobody can afford produce right now, while little Donnie spends a few $100 million building a ballroom. Seems totally oblivious to the suffering of the people in this country right now, at least low-income people. So I don't blame anybody trying to work tax loopholes or create tax loopholes. Now, Amanda goes on to argue that not classifying all pets as dependents is an unfair burden to taxpayers, especially since the IRS says that some pets, namely service animals, can qualify for tax advantages. Well, maybe you should get your dog Finnegan Mary Lewis, Afghanistan, classified as a service animal, which isn't too difficult, and now you might get some tax advantage this way. They interviewed a tax lawyer here who states there isn't, however, any language in case law or statutes that would allow pet owners to claim those tax breaks, meaning the ones that Amanda is trying to claim for her dog Finnegan Lois Beatrice Merengue. The article goes on to say while pets have a very special place in many U.S. households, an increasing number of owners have even begun to regard their dogs as their children. This particular case regarding pet tax dependency seems unlikely to move forward. So, just because you call your dog your human child doesn't mean that it is actually a human child, sadly. I think a lot of people are doing that, as the article alluded to. And I hate to yuck your yum, but I think there's some pathology involved in this whole phenomenon that I'm recently seeing, where dogs are being treated as babies, pushed around in baby carriages. Yeah, something's up there. Government employees in China were caught using masks of colleagues to trick facial recognition and skip work. Government staff have been exposed for gaming facial recognition systems at the workplace by wearing paper masks printed with their coworkers' faces to clock in without actually showing up to do the job. As they say, modern problems require modern solutions. Now, this story is out of China. The incident took place at the Lijiang Community Neighborhood Committee in Wenzhou, Zhejiang Province. Nailed it. According to the media, several officials were reported for falsifying attendance records by using custom-made facial recognition masks. In a scheme right out of the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off, surveillance footage shows multiple staff members holding printed face masks and taking turns checking in at the attendance machine. Each attempt was reportedly accepted by the attendance machine system. One person was able to clock in for several employees by simply swapping out masks. And there's a photo here. It looks like a still image from some security footage. It's showing somebody holding up a paper or cardboard mask over their face. This is very odd. I mean, when you envision somebody fooling facial recognition technology at a government building, you would assume there was some, I don't know, prosthetics and makeup going on, some sophisticated masks. Nope, not at all. Just they printed out a picture of somebody's face and held it up while they walked through the scanner. Unbelievable that this would even work. I mean, how did this even go down? A bunch of people got together to try and scheme the system, and they were talking, well, I know a makeup artist. I know somebody who works in special effects on horror movies. Someone else was like, yeah, but I got a printer. Oh, okay, we'll just go with the printer. Now, the investigative report claims the community's party secretary took the lead and was seen openly using a face mask to check in, despite a camera positioned above the machine. When questioned, the party secretary gave a very vague response, and an official investigation is now underway. There's a whistleblower here, identified as Mr. Lee, who said he reported the matter to higher authorities and was promised a response. It remains unclear how many staff members were involved or how their surveillance footage was obtained. Yeah, well, it's probably an inside job going on here. Here's a quote from one commenter. They're just calling them a commenter. Doesn't say where they're commenting. Could be on social media. They just could be commenting at the coffee shop, for all we know. Commenting on the toilet to their wife on the other side of the door. I don't know. It's a commenter, though. They said, "This is corruption. They all should be fired and legally punished. So many people struggle to find work right now. Fire them!" Yeah, I agree with the commenter. These people should be fired. And not because they tried to get out of work. We've all tried to get out of work. I think it's pretty normal to try and get out of work sometimes, but there's ways to do it and there's ways you don't do it. This is the dumbest way to do it, probably. I mean, I would recommend so many other things before this. I would recommend going on Fiverr and paying some fake doctor to write you a note to get out of work for a week. I mean, at least it'd be difficult to catch you doing that. I mean, this is just blatant stupidity, in my opinion. Some other commenters, they say, pointed out the flaws in the facial recognition technology itself. Many systems rely on basic image matching that analyzes distances between facial features. If the similarity score crosses a threshold, access is simply gained and granted. The article says that the weakness in these systems has been known for many years. A 2022 Legal Daily report found that printed face masks costing as little as 10 to 40 yuan could fool many facial recognition systems. Well, I mean, why don't they just beef up this technology? You shouldn't be able to Scooby-Doo your way through these government buildings anyways. I mean, it seems very concerning. Government staff abusing this technology isn't limited to China, it says. In Canada, federal networks were forced to block Netflix, Prime Video, and other streaming platforms after employees were caught consuming terabytes of content during work hours. All right, well, that's not exactly related to this story. I mean, it is in the technology sphere, but that's a bit of a stretch. You might as well say government staff abusing technologies isn't limited to China. Last week in Germany, several co-workers stole some staplers. A sex toy shoplifter threatened a man with a leg of lamb before stealing money from a public bus. Is this the headline of the year or what? I'm not even going to get into the article right now. Let's just bask in the amazement and bizarreness of this title, this headline. A sex toy shoplifter threatened a man with a leg of lamb before stealing money from a public bus. Oh my goodness, that is just rich, rich. How is this story not from Florida? That's my other first thought. How is this story not from Florida? A man steals a sex toy, threatens a man with a leg of lamb, steals money from a bus. I mean, this is Florida, man, for sure. Man, I think I could safely say this is definitely not an AI story because it is so bizarre. I don't even think AI could come up with this. Okay, let's begin the story and get into the details. Let's just say the headline one more time, just for old time's sake. Sex toy shoplifter threatened a man with a leg of lamb before stealing money from a public bus. Oh, I can't wait to get into the juicy details. And I'm also wondering maybe this is a TikTok challenge that we haven't heard about until now. It has this sophisticated setup of a TikTok challenge. You know, it's very specific and weird. And here we go. A prolific shoplifter swiped a $270 sex toy from an adult store in Hamilton. All right, we got to clear up a couple of things. First of all, $270 sex toy. What is this? This sounds like high-tech, high-level. This is a sophisticated sex toy. It's fun for the whole family, it sounds like. Secondly, it's in a place called Hamilton. I thought it was New Jersey. Had to look it up. No, this is in New Zealand. This is a story out of New Zealand. New Zealand man sending Florida man a message saying, hey, you know what? On the menu of degenerate behavior, you got to include New Zealand man on that. Although we're down under, that behavior's not above us. Now, in addition to stealing the $270 sex toy from the adult store, this man threatened to clobber a transport center staffer with a leg of lamb, which he had also stolen. I wonder where he got the leg of lamb. Erewhon? What do they got? Do they got Erewhon down? What would a leg of lamb cost at Erewhon? $5,000? If you're going to steal some leg of lamb, though, you might as well steal it from Erewhon. You guys know about Erewhon? I'm going to stop. Ooh, there's a photo here of the leg of lamb. It looks frozen. Probably would hurt. Quite disappointed to see that there's no photo of the sex toy, though. I had more questions about the sex toy, the size, the girth, how many plugins and add-ons it has. It's got to be something that's real high-tech. Okay, now we have New Zealand man Naomi Johnson, 30 years old, being sentenced to 6 months of home detention. That's all he got was home detention for stealing a sex toy and trying to bash somebody with a leg of lamb and then robbing a bus. I think that's a little bit of a light sentence, man. You got to get this guy in order. He's liable to go steal a sex doll and bash people with an elephant tusk next. It could have easily been a long stay behind bars, it says, but for one compelling factor in Johnson's favor. Her limited number of previous convictions. It's a woman that did this. A woman stole the sex toy, and then a woman tried to bash somebody with a leg of lamb and then robbed a bus. This is out of control. I would have never guessed it was a woman. I just assumed this was a man. This sounds like some degenerate man behavior right here. A woman did all this. I'm very impressed. Sounds like a superhero. And she's got no priors, so unlike Florida man, she's got no priors. See, Florida man is born with prior convictions. Ooh, and now the article has a play-by-play of some of the things that happened on that day when Johnson went to the Woolworths on the corner of Anzac Parade and Bridge Street. You know the place. She put about $260 worth of groceries into a trolley, as they call it. A shopping cart is referred to as a trolley down there. Seems rather silly. A trolley is quite large and would never be mistaken for a grocery shopping cart. But, I mean, to each his own. Do you call a flashlight a torch down there as well? I'd imagine you do. Because you're just not with it yet. Now, a staff member approached Johnson about the groceries that she was pushing through the exit without paying. Asked her to stop and pay. She ignored them. She kept walking north, pushing the trolley filled with purloined produce. She got to a bus that was parked at a stop. She then approached the bus with her groceries and began transferring the stolen goods onto the bus. So not exactly your definition of a swift getaway. Johnson told the bus driver she had no money and wanted another passenger to pay for her. That's very funny. The driver radioed the transport center for help, and a transport coordinator quickly arrived, who told Johnson to please remove the groceries from the bus. Of course, Johnson became angry and abusive, so the coordinator began taking the groceries off the bus himself. That's when Johnson raised a leg of lamb high above her head as she swore at the man. He raised his hands to protect himself from being struck by this leg of the lamb. Johnson did not hit the man with the leg of the lamb, but instead put the leg of the lamb back into the trolley, a.k.a. a shopping cart. So she sort of came to her senses. She was like, this is a very quality leg of lamb right here. I'm not going to waste it by smashing this bus employee. Now it says as Johnson left the bus for the final time, she grabbed the cash box from in front of the driver's seat, hiding it behind her back. The driver and the coordinator did not see this theft, but a passenger did and alerted them of the theft. The coordinator yelled at Johnson to stop, but she ran off with the money box, leaving the trolley and the groceries behind her on the footpath. The discarded money box was later found in a Kmart car park. About $125 in cash that had been inside was missing, of course. Wait a minute, though. You guys have a Kmart in New Zealand? That's fascinating. I don't even think we have Kmarts in the U.S. anymore. Kmart left us and is now thriving down in New Zealand? I had no idea. Okay, now I see there's more antics involving Johnson. It just continues. She's not feeling very sheepish at all after her first incident with the authorities. It says that very same night she got another go at stealing groceries, this time from the Woolworths in a shopping center. She lifted about $385 worth of groceries, which she put into a trolley in a reusable bag. This time her exit was blocked by a staff member. After pretending to scan some of the items at the checkout, she grabbed the bag, which had $154 worth of groceries in it, and made for the store's entry doors, climbing over the, quote, shark's teeth at the entranceway and fleeing. It wasn't just groceries that she helped herself to. At one point along her trail, she entered an adult store and stole the sex toys, which sadly there is no photo of in this article, so it'll forever be a mystery what this extravagant sex toy looks like or can do. All right, well, I got to wrap this up. If you're down in New Zealand, you can rest assured, you can sleep at night knowing that Johnson is on home detention, so I assume she's got that ankle monitor and not allowed to leave the home, which you don't want her out and about right now. She's obviously very feral, and, it's holiday shopping season as well, so, this is a very busy time of year for Johnson, but you don't want her out there shopping right now. You really don't. In one day, she could just Frankenstein together 6 or 7 crimes that are not really related, but definitely make for a good adventure story. I mean, has anyone thought about writing a book about this lady's day? Hi, my friends and listeners of the Weird AF News podcast. You are one of the same, by the way. You are a listener and a friend. Appreciate you spending some time with me in this episode. I hope it was up to snuff, as they say. Up to snuff? Is that what they say? Up to par? Up to snuff. Something like that. Snuff is a tobacco, from my understanding. I don't know how this phrase came about. Anyways, up your nose with some snuff is what I hope this podcast did for you. It's like a nice little jolt right up your nasal passage, right? Hey, like smelling salts. Weird AF News can be very sobering, right? Wake you up. Yeah, a cup of coffee and Weird AF News. It's a great combo. Way to start your day. Appreciate you all. I'm going to keep this outro brief because I am hungover. It's a week of holiday parties for Jonesy. And we had a doozy last night. Had a great time. Had an amazing time at the Laugh Factory, Hollywood Laugh Factory Christmas party. And I met a celebrity, sort of a celebrity. Anyways, a music artist that I'm a fan of, always been a fan of. I met Anderson .Paak last night. Do you guys know who Anderson .Paak is? He happened to be at the party, and I got a photo with him, and I chatted him up a little bit. He was so cool. It was a great night. What a highlight of my night, too, meeting Anderson .Paak. I've always been a fan of his music. And so that was really, really cool. I posted that photo of me and Anderson on my Instagram, @FunnyJones, if you would like to see it. And yeah, it's lovely. What a great night. And we got another party tonight and another party Wednesday. So I guess what I'm saying is you may wake up one day this week and find that there's no episode because Jonesy had to take it to the limit one more time. Yeah, I might have to take it to the limit on one of these parties. I'm trying to be behaved, but when everything's free, everything's free because it's like a work party, really. That's what's great about being a comedian because I work at all these comedy clubs. It's like you get to go to like 5 work Christmas parties. Imagine. I mean, you guys, a lot of you have a job at one place, one company or whatever, and you go to that Christmas party. Imagine you worked at 5 companies. You go to 5 different Christmas parties in like the same week. It's just, well, first of all, it's debilitating. I mean, my voice is nearly gone, as you can hear. All right, I'm rambling now. This is terrible. Okay, I got to let you go now. If you want to support me, support the podcast, tell a friend, please. Tell a friend or leave a review. It doesn't cost anything to leave a review. If you're listening on Spotify, please give me 5 stars. And have a great afternoon. Good luck with your life, man.